Welcome, everybody, to my first replay review in quite a long time. I've taken a break from Mecha around Christmas time, and here I am in summer 2025. It's calling me back. So, doing my first replay review in a while here. Our protagonist here is Mr. CM, a new player on the Discord. Don't know if it's an experienced player, but I'm sure we will find out soon enough. So the question that was put into the share your replay section of the Discord was simply, please tell me why I keep losing to Mustang Phantom Ray spam. So we'll take a look at this here. So to take a look, we have an Amplify Specialist with Slayer DK here, going with a Void Eye Sledge crawler opening in a standard position, pretty rock solid. You know, it can do a little bit of everything, super flexible on how he wants to play this later. Meanwhile, our protagonist here is a Fire Badger Spesh. Unlocking Fire Badger round 1 when he already has Arc Lights and these Sabers, or Mammoth Tanks if you're a Command & Conquer stan. So this is probably telling me this is on the lower end of MMR, given that we're starting with Arc Lights, so we don't need more chaff clear to start the game, and given how important deployments are in the early game, it's really important to get chaff out early. So if you're going to play an Arc Light Saber standard style opener, as in not aggro where you're stacked on one side, you're going to want to have some chaff, typically crawlers behind the towers like this. I mean, it's definitely not the lowest of low MMR because the opponent is doing the proper crawler technique. Maybe they just watched some videos and maybe they don't understand why it works, but we'll take a look here. We're just going to speed it up here with round 1. I mean, obviously the Badgers are going to do well short term, but long term having no chaff is not good. So maybe you rectify it next turn, we'll see. Saber doing pretty alright into the Void Eye. Okay, it's a little chip damage to start the game here. Opponent has not used the amp cores yet. Alright, units, let's think about these. Double Fang, pretty nice given you have no chaff, and it would give you a little bit of anti-air option. Phantom Ray could be good as well, given there's no anti-air at the moment as well, and it could counter, or at least it would match the enemy Phantom Ray if he goes for one. Rhino, I don't see a great use case for it unless you're going to try a flank play of some kind, just given the Void Eyes are going to be pretty good in the early game at slowing down or stopping Rhinos. And then Wraith in Standard is doable. It's just really dangerous. Wraiths really excel in short-range aggro headbutt games where you have your units right on the line. So I would say probably the Fangs would be the best pick, but I wouldn't hate the Phantom Ray either. Okay, opponent, as we can expect based on what the question was concerned about Ray spam, so we're getting the Ray. He's going for Wraith and is developing some crawlers now. So hopefully, well, we don't have the cash for it this turn, but in future turns we need to be doing the additional deployment and adding even more crawlers. It's just really important to get the chaff set up early, and then now I'm seeing crawlers in front. Now I'm having a feeling this is a lower level game again. Or, never mind. I'll just forget about it. Yeah, crawlers do need to be in the back if you're playing standard just because they're so fast. Otherwise, they'll just go too quickly into the enemy and die right away. Enemy here placing the Phantoms in the back, so he wants the Sledges to tank for him, and then the Phantoms to be the main damage dealers. Alright, we'll speed up to maybe 1.5 here. I would imagine that he wins with the triple Phantom option, given that the Wraith is your only anti-air at the moment, and that's just too much for one Wraith to handle all on its own. Let's see, what techs is he running? He is not running armor, which is a really good Mustang counter. Okay. Let's see. None of these really stand out for me. I mean, Assault Storm doesn't make sense in a standard v standard game. Incendiary, you could probably drop something like either here or here to try to kill some crawlers, but it's nothing to write home about. Redeploy could be interesting if you want to maybe do like a temporary flank play and then redeploy after. And Shield could be okay into this. I would probably, if you're going to be conservative, I would do Shield or Skip, especially Shield to protect against a possible fire drop, but it looks like you're going redeploy. I'm curious on what's being redeployed. Okay, so we're moving the Badgers here from the center to where? Well, just a little bit off to the side. Put it behind the Saber. But the Saber has longer range, as we can see here, 95 versus 70. So what's going to happen is the Badger's going to have to go in front of it anyway. Alright, so enemy goes for the fire drop here. Could be pretty devastating for a round, but I mean, I'm just thinking about the Rays. I mean, you could go into Wraith to handle them, but you're going to need to tech them. But Phoenixes are sure bet, and also they're really good against the sledges, so I love the Phoenix pickup. But I'm just thinking we need more chaff. 2 packs of crawlers is just not going to cut it. Also, I'm not sure what the enemy's doing, just holding on to these small amp cores. He should be placing them onto these Phantom Rays that have been doing really well for him. And then if he needs to move the small amp core to, say, like a giant later, he can always just sell the unit and then move the item to the giant. So they do no good just sitting in his inventory. Yeah, this should be a pretty easy win for him, given you did not respect the fire. Fire took out all of the chaff, so his marksmen and rays can get onto your units. And even the Void Eyes, too. They can get on right away, and they should be able to dominate this round. But you do have some decent long-term potential with the deploy, or redeploy, rather. Alright, round 4 coming up. And we'll take a look-see here. Advanced offense, probably too expensive to handle. It could be good, maybe if you had like 4 Mustang packs in the rear and with range and AA, then maybe you could do that. Just because advanced offense is most beneficial when you have lots of units that do many frequent attacks at a weak level rather than fewer larger attacks, because then you get this 30% over and over and over again. Mass-produced Rhino makes no real sense here, given the Marksman, Void Eyes, and the Phantom Rays are all pretty good at slowing down or stopping Rhinos. Intense training could be interesting. Let me see. You don't run Elite on the Phoenixes, so it's not quite as useful. If you're going to be a standard style player like this, you are probably going to want to have Elite Marksman as one of your techs. Which one you get rid of really depends on your style. Especially in higher level games, Quantum pretty much never gets picked. It's kind of a meme tech, because once you know how to counter it, it gets hard countered pretty hard, which is just EMP. So I would recommend replacing Quantum with Elite Marksman, so that when you have the opportunity for these intense trainees, you can get a Phoenix that spirals out of control as its range gets longer and longer every time you upgrade it. But okay. Ion Blast, be pretty damn good for the opponent. You could drop it like here, or even maybe do a vertical play and really mess you up big time, unfortunately. He is more spread out, as you can see, so the Ion Blast be significantly less effective for you. So I would say probably in your case, maybe you just go intensive training or skip, and then anticipate Ion Blast and place shields here and here to at least reduce the amount of damage that the Ion Blast gives. But we'll see how this goes here. Speed it up, let's say. Okay, so you skip, that's fine. I don't see any issue with skipping either. Opponent's problem. I mean, if I'm the opponent, I'm going Ion Blast here. It's such a good card in this situation, but Let's see. He's going intense training. Okay, he wants the long-term plays. He's trying to get maybe a level 3 Ray going right away. We'll see. I like having the more Phoenixes. Now we have 300 supply left. I would imagine we're going to want to range these guys. Oh, right on the money. Yep, so we keep the Phoenixes in the back. Try to keep them away from the Phantom Rays, because one of the Ray's weaknesses is its short range. As you can see, without any tech, it's at 65 meters. Meanwhile, your teched Phoenix is 160 meters. So as long as you're able to clear out the crawlers and the sledges, which are kind of acting like chaff in this kind of formation, you should do a pretty good job at being able to handle the Phantoms in that case. Because like even say this one here at level 2 is 7,200. This has got 3,000, let's say. So only it takes 3 shots to take down each one at the level 2. Okay, so chaff clear working out pretty okay here, especially with the Badgers pitching in. But this is a sign that we just need more chaff. So you can see here the marksmen and the tanks and the Void Eyes, they're just wiping out these ground units with reckless abandon. So we need fangs, we need crawlers to buy time. So that also the marksman won't be able to hit the Phoenixes. You know, if the marksman is wasting his time on fangs and crawlers, you're in great shape, right? Okay, so let's slow her down. Okay, so we got a orbital coming in from you. Yeah, orbital is probably the best play for both sides. Enemy could go portable shield on the big Phantom, which, by the way, he's still holding on to these amp cores. These are just collecting dust. I don't know if he's just trying to flex on you by not using them. But yeah, you should be using these amp cores if you're amp core special. Even if you're not going to use it on the unit forever, that's fine. Just get some value out of it. I don't hate the self-repair. It's just more useful when you have more levels on a saber. Yeah, we need more chaff. I mean, these guys in the front did okay, but let's see. Mustangs coming in, so he's bringing in the Mustangs. They kind of act like chaff, but anti-chaff as well. They kind of like a multi-role here. Not sure Ray's gonna missile. Yeah, good placement. No concerns about that. I mean, air units can't hide from the orbitals. Then you just get the extra attack. That's fine, but again, we just need, like, we need crawlers, like, say, here, here, and here to come in late to be additional distraction, because then once these guys get killed off, all these ground units here are exposed. They're just easy pickings for all these other units. And then, yeah, he's kind of using the Mustangs as, like, late chaff in a way. Expensive late chaff, but that's how they're being used. Yep. So, let's see, Phoenixes get stuck on the Mustangs. Alright. These guys. Wasp Swarm. Not sure how that's gonna work out. It's like I mean, the Mustangs are just gonna wipe them out, and especially the Phantom Rays, if you try something in the back. If it's a defensive Wasp Swarm, then I totally understand it, because the Phoenixes would get distracted by him for a long while. Or I'm sorry, it was the enemy who picked up Wasp Swarm. My apologies. And then for you, Elite Crawler, Electromag. Absorption could be good on the Wraith. Oh, you sold out of the Wraith, which I think is good, actually, because you saw the Wraith was struggling. Absorption and Field Maintenance, I believe they do not stack on top of each other, but if somebody else knows, please correct me. I'm like about 70% sure that if you have one, it overwrites the other. So you definitely don't want to stack them on the same unit. So you are building fangs now, so this is good. You're getting more chaff that we've needed. We do have the money to level the Phoenixes. As we can see here, these Phoenixes, they're doing the most damage in your squad. So highly recommend getting them upgraded, which they are. Sweet. Then he goes anti-air on the Mustang, so it's weird that he goes anti-air first. Typically, you want to go range first, unless you're like in a aggro situation. Just because it keeps the Mustangs in the back and keeps them safe from danger, while tankier units with shorter range go in front of them, and then chaff goes in front of those to protect them. Alright, this wasp drop is going to be really annoying for you, unfortunately. So disrespecting the wasp drop is going to be a problem. I mean, was it a reasonable prediction? Maybe. But is what it is now. So, yeah, Phoenixes getting stuck on these other units here. Yeah, that wasp drop in the back really messed you up big time, unfortunately. Is this game? Yeah, it is. Well, thank you for actually sharing a replay that was a loss. I don't get this all that often. Most people just want to share their wins. But yeah, this can be pretty instructive here. So I think this game was lost maybe in like round 3 or 4, just given we had so little chaff back then that it allowed these Phantom Rays and especially the Rays in particular, but also the Marksmen kind of slept on how well they did. It's one of those things where a game of Mechabellum can be lost earlier than you think by letting something spiral out of control before you can adequately counter it. So I'll try to win this round just for instructive purposes, but we'll see. I mean, not sure if this game is totally winnable. So I would have done a defensive Wasp Swarm in the middle, because if he drops a Wasp Swarm here, it would distract these Phoenixes pretty tremendously and be extremely annoying for you. So we're going to upgrade the Phoenixes. Another thing is you were on the brink of death at the time, so we got to go rapid resupply. It's one of those things where if you're down and about to lose, you might as well roll the dice and just take a loan every single round. We're going to get the temp range here. Then we needed more chaff, so not to cheese it, but I would have done probably some late fangs on each side to also hedge against wasps. So it'd be something like this, roughly. And for the rays, not sure what I'm going to do in this situation. I don't know if I can turn this around, but I'm going to try. Actually, maybe we go into Stormcaller here, because we saw that his stuff was already unlocked Fang, damn it. So I can't do Stormcaller as well. Alright, whatever, we're just gonna do these. I'm gonna run out of time. Whatever. We're gonna just take a stab at it just for shits and gigs. Yep, so I've had late fangs in the back to be late chaff and also discourage flanks. But yeah, as you can see here, look at how bunched up his units are. So if we had another round on top of this, I would unlock Stormcallers for the next turn, just to have an option to punish units that are so closely bunched together. And then if he goes into anti-missile, so be it. He's spending money on attack and then also reduces their effectiveness against Phoenixes because they'd be distracted dealing with the missiles. So that's one way to handle it. Thank you again for submitting your replay to the Mechabellum Discord. I hope you find some of this useful and hopefully can take your game to the next level. I'm just going to play a game here. I bet the MMR level of these players is roughly 1100. So if you could respond in the Discord chat about how roughly approximate your MMR is, that'd be appreciated, just out of curiosity. All right, my name's Phoenix Flight. Not sure when I'm going to be streaming again. I'm going to try to figure out a good schedule and try to get something consistent going. I am in the 1770s at the moment. Have a nice day. Thank you.